people do those people on weekends. Spring Pass starts April 1st.
I am dealing with them while also
So
spinning.
April 1st.
So I suppose that's a plus.
We're gonna have a first and second.
Come on.
You'll go.
And this one is heavily involved with you.
Monday's a holiday.
More details about the like probably.
So,
Oh, no, no, no. No, it's okay. It's just that
Randomly
I'm
charged.
distracted right now.
I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, the assignment 4.
I couldn't wear my gloves.
I think I'm gonna have to readjust the day again. Always goes. And Visual Studio is taking forever to open.
It just automatically comes up. Yeah. It worked out right.
So it's flashing on and off. That was weird, but I need to fix it anyway. So I probably will program.
Yeah, usually it likes that.
Some of those ports are
So that means all of them are not good.
they all not good now?
Well, there's only two, right?
There's some on, there's some other ports, but they're in the back.
Why must you go?
That actually is, that actually looks the right size. Some of the-
And they're up. Although you know,
Making sure that it takes the other way. Yeah.
did it like
It did, frankly. Nothing like that. Yes.
All right, with luck, we'll get going here in a minute.
Stupid computer. It's like this is putting out a grant for these new pieces of shit that don't work.
Yeah, these are really expensive computers too.
What they should have done with that grant money is paid for somebody to work on the network. Just saying.
They have a couple people, but these, I don't put these on a grant.
I talked to somebody and they said they just got a bunch of grant money and bought all of these.
They're about for 100. They don't make all of them that are openable, but these are. You can open them and you can like replace hard drives and things. Most of them are sealed. The only way to open them is to break them, which yeah, but one I've been made to it died on. It has a terabyte hard drive, and I don't think it was the hard drive that died. It was the motherboard. So the hard drive, but there's no without just breaking it. But I think I'm gonna do that and get the hard drive out anyway. Okay, I think we're ready. Are you guys ready? I have like one or you do probably have that or Google Drive. You can always put your files up there. If it isn't internet, you just press it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so I'm going to open up assignment 4 and we'll talk through that. I'll also show you the repository real quickly on Google or on GitHub. Actually, a lot better than I did this week, but it's still a little. That's a fairly normal state we get chaotic. All right. Everything is slow. Okay, so we'll go over that in a moment, but first I'll show you the GitHub. So as always, it's just github.com/spconger. And this one, MD named is just ITC1722132017Assignment4B. So go to repositories. Everything. So if I were doing this to show it, typically I wouldn't have done that because, like the uploading the source in the bind library, and but I know that you actually just either clone this or zip it be in a state where it can run. You'll have to re-save the solution because the solution file is irrelevant at this point. Oh, by the way, things in the solution is utterly the solution file has in it list of the list of projects. So it'll have, in most cases, just one the name of the project, and that's it.
And if we put like our assignment 4 folder to our GitHub and just give you a link to that folder.
That's perfectly good.
ITC, what's in the word that work.
Yeah, just a few people in the solution file. I can understand, because if you double click the solution file, it opens the whole solution, but that's just because it knows where the path is. But when it comes to me at home, there's nothing. I mean, I can't. I need the C files and the ASP files. You don't have to need the JavaScript files. You simply don't need to give me the binaries. This has things like entities, data entity DLL, I think is in there. Entity framework DLL, SQL Server DLL. There's several DLL maximum. Also, we're trying to be more minimal turning these in because we're going to be using the relationships a lot. I don't necessarily need all this code that's generating the entity. If you're just minimal, I mean, I need that to run. In worst case, typically I only run code if I am confused. So when I look at it and I say, I don't know that this would work, but I don't know that it won't work. So then I might actually recreate the project and see if it works. Sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes you guys do really clever things that I thought of. A lot of times I can tell just if it's going to work or not going to work. If it's going to work, I'll give you the credit. It's always possible I miss a typo or something that way. But in general, and you've tested it, and I've usually seen you if it's worked on your machines. So again, this is part you don't have to if you don't want. The main things that I need in the app code, if you write your own classes, so I need the code from your own classes, and I need basically the CS, and I like to have the ASPX too, just to see the how your design performs. I don't necessarily need the web config, although that's where the data connection will be, right? I certainly don't need packages and all of that, but I uploaded it all so that you could just download this and run it. And I tried it at home and it worked. I mean, I downloaded it from GitHub and ran it. It worked. Although I often at home or so.
The virtual machine is just like completely frozen. Just like force close.
You can sit closer, give it a little time.
A lot of time.
I know, it can take a lot of time. And as I said, if you don't panic, because anything that I'm going to do today and what we did last time is up on the web. So.
I'm just like catching up.
Yeah, you're
trying to understand the material.
You're pretty good at catching up because you've had to do it so much.
I've been having to do that since I've been out of school for the last year and a half. Everything's.
Well, it's good and bad. It's high stress, but it's.
Really, really.
I don't know.
So the things that we've done so far, and then we'll move on. And let me know if it doesn't come back in 5 or 6 more minutes, then maybe we did the login, right? We haven't put any code on these. So we did the login. We have basically it's just like the login table before. We did a register page. This is where we spent most of our time. And we have all these different fields, right? And we did some validation with the validation controls. Part of that, and I'm just sort of rehearsing before we go on to the next, is we needed to download the JavaScript, Java query, jQuery scripts, right? Because Microsoft uses the jQuery to, their controls basically are just masks for the J. So we downloaded the jQuery script. And the way you do that, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can download. I'm not going to now, but I'm just going to real quickly. If you go to Manage NuGet Packages, this is, I mean, there are hundreds of things you can. These are just being highlighted. You can get boots if you want. Everything that I mean, there's much. I go through all of them. You get stuff if you're to get a Unity, the gaming platform. You get tools to make work with Studio. You don't have to use crappy editor for coding. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do. Here, we're going to let that little add-on video. The one that we downloaded was ASP Script Manager jQuery. Is it not finding that? Probably because it's installed, and maybe Eagle also is. That's the correct one. I think that's new installed, as it's in just packages. I have no idea it's not. That's what we do. Build manager wrong. You'd think it would be giving of one character, that it would notice that 90% of the characters match. So ASP.NET Script Manager is what. And how that's what I a book somewhere. And also, if you use those controls out, it'll give you an error, and so you have to. All right, so that's that. I didn't validate everything the way we should because of time. We should make everything that's required should be required, and everything that like home phone and work phone are nullable. These two should be required. State and city have defaults, so you can actually kind of leave those out. Apartment number you can leave out, not fill in the blank. You do need all the boxes. And I'm going to show you in the code how we do that, how we pass that to the thing. But you should validate it. The state, if you were validating it, you would want to make sure that the size of the text box is actually 2 characters, because that's what it is in the database. Phones do not use the regular expression thing on it. Because in the database, the phones do not have parentheses and dashes. And the regular expression will add those. And it'll cause an error because it'll overflow the size of the text box, because I made the size of the field in SQL Server is exactly as long as the phone number. It doesn't allow for dashes and parens and things like that. So you were here for this, right? You just are. Is it working now? No, I'm sorry. Let's see what happens in a minute. Then we added donate, which is really simple, and we didn't do much with it. We just did how much do you want to donate. We have a text box, a button, and a label that will show errors. That's all we did there. And then the last thing we did was just to show donations, and it's a grid view. And then I said thanks. And what will happen, the theory is, you'll go to the login page. If you don't have a login, you'll go to register. You'll register, then go back to the login page, log in, and then you can donate. And once you've donated, it'll take you to a page where you can look at your donations. Does that make sense? So we did everything except the C#. I am going to put it inside the web pages, although we probably should build some classes. I'm just going to do that because this is complicated enough, I think. Are we ready? Yeah, I know you're still frozen.
Yeah.
Do you know how to, it's freezing.
Oh, you know what? I do know how.
All the things. I tried to open it, and, yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is. Will it let you close that little dialog box? So you might have to kill Visual Studio.
Oh, and then open it from the folder.
Well, no, there's one thing you need to do, and I totally forgot this. Can you close it? You might even have to restart. But I didn't download this. Go to the here. So we need to go into where you download it. So where's the folder for this? You put it in websites.
No, it's on the desktop.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot I moved it.
Didn't do it.
So open that.
So open the zip.
Well, what you need to do. Delete the two Just delete that and delete that. The ones with teeth.tt. And then try reopening. So you may have to kill. You can't kill Visual Studio. You might have to kill everything.
So delete the
Yeah, delete the two.tt.
Okay, and then go back into the.
So let's see if we can do Control delete in the internally. Excuse me.
How come this won't drop down?
So go to Task Manager.
I want to see everything.
It's inside the
Limited, that's not the,
Yeah, it's not clean.
Oh, I got all the files over here. How did I get all the files over here?
I have no idea.
I must have brought it down improperly.
I don't know, I didn't do it.
I think we have to restart our computers.
You shouldn't have to, if the virtual machine, maybe you shouldn't have to restart.
Yeah, but when I shut off the virtual machine, it doesn't shut off. Yeah, when we open the virtual machine back up, it's still running.
That wouldn't work. Visual Studio. Open it again. Let me see. So you had the test.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does run. Well, and it does show up, and then you turn it off. And then it doesn't.
We get you to lose those two people.
Now,
Theoretically, it'll open. If you're still frozen, it would do the same thing.
Maybe for overtime, because I think it's trying to open it offline.
Yeah. File, open, website.
and I just click the whole folder.
Yes.
Her yelling at him. Yeah, that's pretty good. Good morning. The way to start the day. How you doing? I'm sorry to hear that. What's up?
I think mine's really slow, but.
This is communities.
So you open each app code, and there's two files that you have to see. And then delete those. I've already deleted them, so it's on. And then when you're done, go to file, open the website, and click on the shell of page. The whole thing.
Who else is that?
That's what I'm gonna do.
How hard is it? Young me, just be an adult.
Yeah.
And like, really-
Now that's
Oh, that is to do it. It seems to be, I'm not sure what that is about those TT files that causes it to go bad. What I will do is I will go into the GitHub right now and delete those two files. But I have seen this before, and I totally had spaced that it happened in the past. For some reason, when you bring those up, it freezes Visual Studio. So you might have an error where you have to save the.
It just this thing wasn't at the, should be below the application level,
Well,
but yeah, it wasn't really even.
so I'm going to go here real quickly. I'm going to go into app code. And I'm in here. I'm going to.
You deleted that app?
I'm not deleting the whole app code.
No, that particular.
Yeah.
It's
Deleting the TTs. You guys don't need, if it's your own, you don't need to do this. Did it go? Why did it not delete? I'll probably just deal with this later, but do I need to commit the delete? Probably don't.
And I know where it is.
Well, so you just want the folder.
Yeah, it just, if I go file, open, file,
Yeah.
see it. And if I go just file, open file, it sees it, but it won't, it doesn't do anything. It's in my downloads folder.
Well, it may not allow it from the downloads folder.
You have to put it in.
You
the
might have to
Visual
move
Studio
it,
folder.
yeah. Or it doesn't have to be in the Visual Studio folder. It just can't be in the download.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll move it.
So I'm going to delete this one. And these are the big JavaScript files. What's going on in these? Pausing. It'll be ready. So nobody else is frozen up? Right. So no longer there. Remember, find your own factor to reiterate them. But when you try to open it from the downloads, fails. Except, it's different. I didn't zip. I clicked, and I don't know what's different.
So you can select, do you want to?
You don't have. I mean, if in class, we need the downloads there. If you download, you're already going to have the code that I'm going to show. Go into.
You have to receive.
Probably wouldn't hurt to say things. You should when you early morning. So as I said, what we'll do is we'll just do the login now, and I walk through different pieces. The code slightly different, doing it off the top of my head rather than but first thing I do is make a link community into, you know what that. Exactly. We're linking entity into treated a library of things. You can just link to it. So you like really, and it is the collection. It's a class. Contains a collection. So it's called this, which is community entity, name it whatever. I tend a little bit brief names there, and that's probably not a great habit. But I don't like typing. But it should be clear, and as I said, they're not always clearly. If community assist entities does not appear in your IntelliSense, it may mean that your data entities didn't work. No matter what you named anything, it will be called community assist entities. It's always the database name and the word entities. So I'm going to do int result equals CAE, and then I'm going to do a dot, and just to show you the IntelliSense, notice it has donations and employees and contacts. It knows all the tables that we have. It also knows the stored procedures that we added. So it has USP login and USP register. We're going to use USP login for this one. When it says that it wants email, name is email. I think I called it username Xbox. Again, some might be of it. And then password. Xbox text. Password and the and again this procedure is it takes the password, it the number with rehashes and then matches the hashes. The hashes match and it's okay. That would work if we do it for procedure for us. So the having this do it in system things that I found to do it in the C# is that it didn't sometimes match the password, even though the password was correct. A character out of place, a gray, you'd have to everything, you'd have everything was the same. Just a variable. So I did, yeah. It's pretty easy to hash something. The trick is which hashes haven't been broken yet. I think I used SHA 520 or something. Yeah. All right, so the other thing we need to do, so I'm going to say if result not equal -1. So if it fails, it'll equal -1. Does that make sense? That's what the store procedure returns if it fails. So if it's not -1, we need to get the key from the user. So if it's not -1, it means it's a valid login. And I'm going to do a little query here. And again, this would probably be better done in an outside class, but I'm going to do it here. I'm going to say var key equals, and this is a very alien syntax in some ways, from P in CAE dot persons, or actually it'll be people. It pluralizes. And it's smart enough to know that the plural of person is people. And you don't have to break line here, but I will. Where P dot person, well, P dot person email, I believe. And I'm going to use the equals. I don't think it'll let me do username. We can try it, but I don't think it'll allow me to do that. Maybe it will. Select I think did I just in my other one, did I just select the user key?
P.person key.
Oh yeah, P dot person key. I was trying to remember if I did it actually, person key. And I think I want a parentheses here. And I want to do dot first or default. So basically we're saying it's only going to return one value. If by accident it returns more than one value, we only want the first one. Does that make sense? So this is a weird little query. This is kind of what they call LINQ, L-I-N-Q. And they developed this query language about 2007 or 8. What does it look like a little bit? Anybody know?
SQL.
It looks like SQL, except it's sort of like upside down SQL.
Why that happened?
Sure.
You do the from first, and then the where, and then the select. So it's kind of upside down from what an SQL statement would be like. This is actually, for what it's worth, the order in which a real SQL statement would be processed. So it's just reflecting the actual process. So we create a variable. P is just a variable, it could be anything. From, and then, so it's like a for each in some ways, where you're getting everything from CIE, which is our community assist entities, people, which is the collection of persons. Right? Each person is like a row. Later we'll do a person class. Person is like a row. People is like the table. Where, and then we give the equal, where the email, person email in this equals the user, basically the username, which is the email. We're going to select just the person key, and we're going to get the first or default. Once you get the hang of this, which takes a while, it's actually a pretty nice thing. And it has some advantages over the SQL strings in that there is IntelliSense. I could just do p dot person email. I didn't have to go look up the fields. If you have a syntax error, it will red underline it and give you errors. In the Visual Studio, you don't have to wait until you ran it against the database to see if it's good or bad. So, as I said, it's a bit of a weird syntax, and there's some other things that are strange about it, but it's actually a fairly powerful syntax. And there's much more to it than we will ever see, but just to let you know. You can get a white paper on it. It's only about 70 pages long. That gives you most of the basics. So we need to get the key back. So one of the things I'm just going to say int, I'm just going to call it p key, person key, is going to be, I need to cast it to the type int. So var is also something that they introduced. You guys, if you've done jQuery or JavaScript, have seen var. It's a little bit different in that by runtime it needs to be typed. But it is meant for a variable type that is hard to identify at the time of the query. So we need to cast it to the type of thing that it is right now. Yeah.
So that link command, that's going to be run through MySQL?
It's going to be run through SQL Server. Well, actually, so underneath, this will be converted into an SQL statement. Yeah. My SQL Server does not understand this statement, but it will be turned into an SQL statement.
GitHub, it has the where person email dot equals email.
Oh, that's because what I did there, and I was thinking of whether I had to do it here, was I did string email equals text username, because I was thinking that this was an error, but it isn't so far. So now notice that the semicolon doesn't come till there. All of this is just one statement. I break the lines to make it more readable. And then I'm going to put this in a session so that we can have the person key, and I'll just make it a user key equals key. And then I will response redirect, and we'll redirect it to donate. .aspx. And then otherwise, else, and I'm just going to say invalid login. So I'm going to say, what was the name of my text box here? It's a result error label.
Error label.
So error label.text equals invalid login. So does that make sense? We're going to do some things kind of like this in next assignment too, but kind of, yeah.
So you don't have to do any of the ADO stuff, like open and close the database?
You do not. All of that is done for you.
Well, that seems way better.
Yes, that's why if you go online, people do it this way. They don't use the classic ADO much anymore. I wanted to show it to you because the classic ADO gives you total control of those. They don't have background. But yeah, it's a lot easier. You don't have to open and close. You don't have to worry about the connection at all. It handles the closing of the connection. You don't have to worry about the actual SQL syntax as long as you can get this syntax down, and there's some IntelliSense to help you.
And it's using the web to
Web config. If we want it, we could look at the web config. It's all stored in there, but it's doing all of that for you. You don't have to go pull the string out.
Yeah.
You don't have to create a command object. It's already created. Literally, it's created a class for every table you drag onto the designer. And when you have a store procedure, it treats it as a C#. So let's try this, just if it works. And the things that I would suggest generally when you're doing this kind of stuff is to try things one thing at a time before you move to the next. That if it totally fails, then not unable to connect to the web server. It says it's being used by another process. I'm going to save everything. Yeah.
I community assist entities at 5.
So did the what that means is that you have to do
Says missing a U.
right. What it means is that you haven't. Did you have the data entities that might have to be rerun? The data entities, remember from last time?
I would say they didn't want to.
I'll look here in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, at least, and actually, it's J. What is it? Man. Why is it using the wrong port? All right, so everything closed back. I'll get to you in a second. Like lman at gmail.com.
Or this.
Yeah. The username is the email, and lman at gmail.com is one of the wins. Okay. What is the process?
It's supposed to bring up a, okay, well, that must be it.
What am I doing?
On the. Please enter a number, because it doesn't like call us.
You can check with
What?
Oh, man. Yes. Yeah, after they donate by time.
There it is. Here's-
I wonder if I am missing something down
Yeah.
You heard a password. Perfect.
I'm trying to find so
What?
No. So I got an error.
She's not.
did that fix your problem?
No, I'm testing it out right now.
Oh, you know what?
Username and password you use.
So I use, I mean, one that you can use is lmann, LMANN @gmail.com, and the password man pass, both with capital letters. Oh, if I with luck, I'll show you in a second. But, so it should be like lman. No. Capital LMANN, capital password MAN, capital MAN, capital PASS. And what have I written here? So how are your guys' working? If I can get past mine.
Saying that it's not supported in section. First word, how you actually.
I think I'm still. Oh, yeah.
Create a constant value type. Create types of enumeration type. Textbox1.text.
Thank you.
All right, I'm almost there, hopefully.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think, so that my legal for connected studio open. I'm not sure it's connected to this.
I forgot. I
I think 8. I don't know.
Provider failed.
I hate to speak.
I don't know.
But it's like-
Oh, you know what? One of the things that could happen too, are you running SQL Express?
There you go.
Everything else.
So it's a local host. If you download it, you're going.
I want to really.
I wanted to
I have,
get
I
that
have.
and I checked out.
Bring
the
it
building.
Right, if it, I mean, you download it.
I'm pretty sure I was missing.
Yes, I am. Oh, so I have to change.
You have to change the.
Oh, you haven't? I thought you guys did
No,
because I left.
No, we didn't.
Go to the web.
Yeah,
Okay, understand.
yes, yes, I have that. And then what's the?
Here's
Yes.
the place.
So we can go over to the CS.
Yeah, we haven't, that yet, so what we'll do is have it here, click it, donate button. Before you can go to it.
Well, I guess I
Yeah,
cheated.
yeah.
That's okay.
I thought I was missing something.
So,
I had to leave early. Yeah.
you know, one of, somewhere in here.
I know, no.
it says, not to say,
I would take this minute to
follow
like,
that
eat
line.
piece of the color.
Wherever it has this host provider.
I love that.
Get a local host not backslash SQL
So I
Express.
think I played the phone, I got with 3 different school emails, I got like 3 copies of every stupid email that anybody sends out to like everybody.
Does case matter?
No, it shouldn't.
Email today.
So with luck, I'll be up and running and able to go here.
Yeah, I'll call it. And everything would redirect it to the mailbox, my personal email.
Everybody changed the settings into.
Depends on who you have, but it should just be.
Because sometimes some of the stuff that gets sent to one.
Same from the browser
I have to have it.
If this doesn't work, then I'll just give you all the code. But it would be nice to be able to show it. I don't know why I'm having trouble with the IIS Express. Oh, come on.
Even the tutors and there's-
Library has it. Yeah, works like it. It's just
I already got a
cheap.
job.
It's cheap.
On the table.
I think. So I think I'm gonna do essentially yeah, Kristen Michelle last night.
All right, last try here. It just says attach. Is it going to, it's not finished yet. I think it will respond, it's just slow. Why does it say attach? Come on. It worked when you did that?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Slowly, slowly, slowly. As I said, if, whoa, now it's gonna run it. All right, so where I'll show you where to find these in a moment. I think it was lman at gmail.com is like the third person down. And I think it's man, MANNPASS. So like that. And then when I log in, it should go to donate, which it did. And if I do a different pass, like just pass, it should say invalid login. Okay, so it's working. It took me forever to get it to run, but it was saying that my IIS, the Internet Information Server, the stub that's in Visual Studio, was not able to work. it said that it was being used by another process. So I restarted the virtual machine. Okay, that was a lot of work to get that little tiny demo. So I'm going to close this, and I will stop this, and we'll go to the next page, which will be the register. Yeah,
Still not able.
still not able to connect. I'm not sure I can fix it.
Man has capital M, lowercase a, M, N, capital P, lowercase a, S, S. Capital P, lowercase a, S, S. She just crossed her fingers.
Yes.
Oh.
You turn an exception error.
Yeah.
Let me see your.
So sometimes it doesn't seem to be, doesn't recognize it unless you save it. I'm glad it was that, because otherwise what we would do is
Default.
Oh, I have
Okay,
a
in here.
login.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So it
Yes, I
says
have to
valid.
do this.
This gives you an under page load rather than under.
Yeah, well, it can be a button. Anyway, I think they don't take too long. No, no, I talked to Scott, he gave me a summer board. I could really want to protect the soil, so it says, yes, and 1.2 is that was already like super filled up.
It means PNC people were P dot person email not equal username or text box. Username text box, not login text, or you change, oh, that's what you named it, is login text box?
Yes. Because that is what my ASP, that's what it's called. In login text box ID.
I don't know. Okay.
I started reading it.
So that's what people, so people like
Yeah.
exactly.
Glad I did it early because when I got into it, I registered already. I had one of the people.
Yeah, it was weird, because I was like,
Able to rip 5 a.m. And I got some weird registration funds. Order. Yeah, it's really kind of weird.
but
I think
it's funny,
the after you are, it's weird,
Yeah, like I-
you are to getting. Usually the earlier they give you.
yeah, and I just.
Right?
All right,
At 6:38, that's when I.
ready to move on yet?
Yeah, so I had 5 a.m. So it's like, oh, I need that now.
Let's go to register.
No.
Yeah, let's go to register. Actually, I suppose this registration for next quarter starting soon, right?
As of 4 minutes ago.
As 4 minutes ago,
It's
because I
already
saw
done.
some people with their pages on. All right, so I'm going to double click the submit button. All right, so that we have, and I might do a separate method and call it in the submit just because it's kind of big. It could actually be really simple, but I want to make it, I'm just going to call it submit registration. I don't know that that's what I named it in the other one. Just you can go with what you had. So what I'm going to do, and you don't have to do this, but I think it's a little bit easier, is I'm going to just do a string and assign all the things from the text boxes. So we had like a last name, and it's just going to equal text box, or last name text box, dot text. You could go directly from Texas procedure, but I think make it easier to do this. First name equals first name text box dot text. What else? We had email next. Email text box dot text. So again, this isn't necessarily, what did I have then? Address, apartment. Let's make that lowercase a. Shoot. This is under registration, and it's, what was your question?
Registration.
Yeah, this is registration. I just made methods of registration. Is it apartment? Yeah, apartment text box dot text. For some reason I didn't capitalize that. That's all right. String street equals street text box dot text. Doesn't matter the order here, although it does matter when we do it for the store procedure. City, right? Equals city text box dot text. Again, this isn't absolutely necessary, but it's just, we're just getting all the string city state equals state text box dot text. This is very boring, but it's, as I said, it makes things easier for the last part. Zip equals zip code text box dot text. What else do we have? Password, and then we have the home phone, and so we need string. I'm just going to say home equals home phone text box dot text, and string work equals work phone text box dot text, and I hope this all works when we do it. And then the password we need. And you could get this one from the password, or you could get it from the confirm. Password.text. Is that everybody thing? Did I get all the fields? Yeah, I don't need it. I just need it. As I said, you can get the password from the confirm or from this, whichever one you want. All right, so all of that is just so that I have some nice strings here instead of passing the text boxes directly, but you could pass the text box directly. And then I'm going to do community assist entities again, CAE. Again, you can name it whatever you want, equals new community assist entities. And I'm going to do int result equals CAE, and then I want the USP register. And when I open that, notice that it gives me a list of all the fields. And the thing is, we have to put them in, and we have to put them in that order. Not every box has to have a value, but every parameter has to be accounted for. Does that make sense? So I need to do last name, first name, email, password, and they have to go in the orders that it says. Apartment, street, state, zip. Oh, did I miss city? Yes, it'll cause an error if you miss anything, which is the hardest part of this. City, state, home and work. Did I miss zip? I did.
Why is password in there in a different order?
Well, it's in the order that it requires it in here. Last name, first name, email, password. It has to match the order that the store procedure is asking for. Apartment number, city, state, etc. Yeah.
Is it possible to break that line with
Yes, this line can be broken. I didn't because I didn't want to lose the IntelliSense.
State twice.
Oh, I have state twice. That's why. Is it street? It's street, city, state, right? Now that should be. This should do all the work for us. I'm going to show you a little bit later when we do the donation how to do an insert with a thing. But this store procedure, what it does is it actually does an insert into 3 separate tables, right? It inserts into person, it inserts into person address, and it inserts into contact. So the store procedure does all of that. And again, I wrote it. It's SQL in the database. It's meant to make our life easier, but I will tell you that troubleshooting this if it doesn't work is a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Why didn't, so in your form, you had, from how it all in, you had last name, first name, email, and the password?
But it has to follow, it doesn't matter what order they are on the form. But when you enter it into the store procedure, they have to have this order.
Okay.
I mean, it'll still work, it'll just enter in the wrong.
It just will enter the wrong data into the wrong fields. Because it doesn't know, this is true of computer in general, it doesn't know what a last name is, it doesn't care what the last name is, it just matches first to first, second to second, third to third. And these are the order that the parameters are in, whatever, I'm not saying it's logical, but it's the order I put them in. So it has to match that order. Like this, the order of the form should be something logical for the user, right? This one doesn't have to be either. It does though, see one of the advantages, if we were doing this purely with the ADO, we would not have any IntelliSense here. Right, so we could put it in the wrong order a lot of times and not know until we wrote some garbage to the database and came back to see, or got an error from the database. I mean, you can see it sort of in the Server Explorer. It has the parameters. Yeah.
If it's saying put it in that order, they don't have to be the same image because that one's an apartment number and you don't have apartment.
Well, no, I can, my variable name from up here.
It's based on the variable name.
Right.
Okay, that's what I wasn't getting. Thank you.
Yeah, we're using these variable names, which are getting the values from the text boxes.
Okay, cool.
We could have entered those text boxes here, but I think that's a little less elegant and it's a bit hard to follow. This is these are the parameters in the order that they need to go. All right, so if we are successful here, so I'm just going to say if result not equal -1, which again means that it failed. What we'll do is we'll just send it back to Not right. Response redirect. We'll send it back to the login so they can log in. Why can't I spell default? A-U-L-T. Okay. And then I'll just say else. Is it error label?
Do you need curly braces on those?
Yeah. You actually don't, but yeah, you should probably put them. You probably should think of a different error message. I will show you eventually to how to do some try-catch stuff. So just on the if statements, if there's only one command that follows it, you don't need the curly braces, although you should probably get into the habit of using them anyway, because they, if you have more than one statement, you have to have the curly braces. But I'll leave it as is. Show you that it works. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to run this. So who do we want to add? We've added me at different times. Let's see. I think I added Simpson before too. Let's see.
Bugs Bunny.
We could add, well, I guess. So is Bunny the last name?
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Bugs Bunny cartoon in probably 20 years. I don't know that you need every, in fact, I'm sure you don't need everything filled out here, but I am going to, I have no idea. I have no idea. What California zip codes? I have no idea this either. You know why they always have 555 in there?
Because it doesn't direct to anything.
Yeah, there's no such phone numbers. They reserve that for fictional phone numbers. Password would then be Bunny Pass. Passwords don't match. I think what I did here. So is it going to fail or? Oh, I didn't tell it to tell me that it didn't redirect though. Why did it not redirect? Isn't throwing an error. Done.
Mine did exactly what yours did.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Let me look at the tables. So mine doesn't seem to have written.
How do I do it? With the people card again? See if mine's ever in
What did I do wrong? Is there anything that I have that's different here? It didn't throw an error. Oh, you know why? I know why I did nothing. Anybody have a clue why I did nothing?
Because you didn't click the submit button.
No, because I didn't call it in the submit button.
So all of this has got to go into submit.
Yes.
Click. That makes sense.
So it never ran that code.
Should we just
So just, yeah, put it up there in that and then run it again. This time it should at least throw errors. Right? I hate to do. Do I want to do Bugs Bunny again? I will probably because I think it's there.
it should all be there when you click.
Yeah.
How come my passwords aren't showing as asterisks?
If you don't put the password text mode,
Is that in the register ASPX?
yes, it's in the source under the text pass. I'll show you later. I mean, it's an easy fix. It's like a one attribute. Actually, that would be
Yep, good work.
So I went to log in now. And I think that if I like stop it here and go to my query and run that again, and you'll see that Bugs Bunny is there at the bottom with the hashed password and all. That's one reason I wanted to run it through the stored procedure, is that it hashes a new password. It hashes the password. So questions on that? Yeah,
Oh, I just wanted to see the end of the code.
sure.
Thanks.
Are we able to register and I'm looking at the registered name?
Yep, so the one you just put in?
So you could have, as I said, you could have just put the text boxes down here. This would have been uglier, but it would have been a little bit less code. I think it helps readability to do this. All right, so we're gonna just go to the donation, well, the donation page. You have to log in to do the donation. So we'll go to the donation page. With luck, we'll finish because there's not a lot more to do. Yeah.
How do you get the SQL query window?
Oh, so what I did in the, I'll kill it. In the SQL, so in the server thing over here, the server Explorer under Community Assist, I just right-clicked on that and said New Query. It's really useful in that way I don't have to go out to the management studio to look at this stuff. But as I've told you before, the connections over here have nothing to do with the connections in here. Sure, where?
Just to the submit. Look, I think I got it.
I did try to comment a little bit in the GitHub too, which I hope will help. I know I didn't comment it as thoroughly as I maybe should have. But.
Can you remind me of the difference between protected and private?
So, you could go with either. They actually don't have much difference. Protected means that it can only be seen, this method can only be seen inside the current assembly, which means that everything that gets compiled together, so can see it, but nothing outside of that. private means it's a little bit more restrictive in the sense that only this class could see it. So it would only be, although this is invisible to the other web pages, so because I think it actually compiles the web pages separately. I'm not sure. You never see the executables here.
Yeah.
The web pages by default use protected, so I just went with that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, is there a way to know when we get compiled together?
I'm sure that there's something. There are some fairly technical white pages on the .NET compiler. Yeah. It's a lot more obvious with Windows programs because you get executables that you can distribute and use. But these, they are pre-compiled. There are, but actually they usually compile into DLLs as opposed to executables. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they go with protected as the. It should work as private. Yeah. Public, you probably wouldn't want.
Yeah.
Generally, the rule is to make them as restricted as possible. Microsoft doesn't always rules. I always went with protected because I thought maybe there's something in their assembly that needs that. You know, the way that they assemble their web pages. Okay, are we ready for donate? Here's a broader question. Yeah.
Back on register. So if register is successful, what is supposed to happen?
It should take you to the login. So the idea is you register, you log in, and then you can donate, which is probably a pain.
Okay, right. Because mine isn't doing either.
So it could be that it hasn't called the. So you've got your button click.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't call.
Yeah, you didn't call it. That's why it's not doing anything. That's what I did the first time.
Okay, so and the button click.
So
is it just the one line.
So other than assigning variables for all of those, there's not a lot of code here. You know, it's pretty clear overall. Let's go to donate. Most is just, I'm going to double click the button again for donate. This is on the donate page. So this is the donate button. I left the one on there. Let's see. We're going to this one I'm just going to do a direct insert via link. And that'll show you how they do it, and it's actually really easy. The only reason I didn't do it with the insert for the registration, because it would have been actually pretty easy code to do there too, but there's no way that I know to have it create the hash. I really needed to store procedure to do that. So I am going to, we always have to, on each of these pages, because they're isolated from each other, we have to make the relation to the community as to the entities. Just because you did it on one page, you can't see it on the other pages. All right, and then I am going to create, this is a donation, right? So I'm going to do a donation class. I'll just call it D equals new donation. All right, so donation is one of the tables in the database. And there's a class here called donation. One of the things that the entities does, you know how they have a plural, like they have people. They also have So they have donations. So donations stores multiple instances of a donation. These become like, each one of these is like a single row. And the collection, this is basically a collection of donation items. So it's like the table. Does that make sense? Each donation class stores the information for like a single row. And then donations is a collection of those donation items. That's sort of how the entities works. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a new row. So we create a new donation item. And again, we have IntelliSense here. So I can do donation. Well, actually, before I do that, let's do something up here. Just real quick, because we're going to need the key. So I'm going to say if session user key, and I think I'll just do equal null. Then I'm just going to response redirect default ASPX. And again, you can use curly braces and probably should. So what that says is if that session is absent, then redirect them back to the login, right? So you can only come here to donate if you're logged in. Having done that, now I can do d.donation amount equals decimal dot parse text. What is it? Donation text. Donation text box. Whoa. Didn't realize I pressed enter. Dot text. Why decimal? Currency and you'd think double would work, but it wants decimal. How do I know that? Multiple errors over time.
So decimal and double are not interchangeable.
They are not equivalent, no. They have different precisions.
But why would that?
And that's for so SQL Server doesn't have a problem with it.
SQL Server doesn't have a double type. That might be part of it. SQL Server has a decimal type, and it has a float type, but it doesn't have a double. Yeah.
Is there something else we need to do to make sure it only goes to 2 decimal places, or will it somehow know?
It will not know, and it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, it looks. We think of money as 2 decimal places. Banks take it way out. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll actually go to 4 because I use the SQL Server currency type, and that has 4 decimal places for God knows what. So a couple of other things we need to do. The donation date is going to, I'm just going to do is equal to date time now. So it'll just put the current date in there. And the D dot, we don't need the donation key. We don't need the confirmation. But we do need the person key. And I don't know if I can do this directly. So I might have to do like I did up above. I mean, in the, my brain is gone. I might have to do this the way I did in the GitHub. If it complains. It's not complaining right now, so it might work. In the GitHub, I made a variable for this. And then assigned the variable. So we're getting the user key out of the session, but we have to cast it to an integer. everything in the session variable is stored as object. Object is the parent of everything. So that way, no matter what kind of thing it is, the session variable can store it. This is one of the big advantages of the session variable over a cookie too. A cookie can only store text. Session could actually store a whole class. You know, it could store objects. So. All right, so there's one. Is that anything? I think that's all we really need for the donation, except we need to make sure that we write it. So I'm going to do CAE donations, right, the collector. We're going to add to it our donation. So we're basically adding this donation to our collection of donations. And then I am going to do CAE, save changes. And save changes works whether you're updating something, adding something, or deleting something. It just looks at what you've done up here and makes the changes to the database. A lot of magic happening there because you're not doing the coding.
What does CAE stand for again?
CAE is our community assist entities.
Oh.
I mean, you can name it whatever. Yeah, it's just a variable. That should be it. Except you probably would want then to say, oh, then we want to do, if it works, right? We were going to response redirect, and we should do some other stuff here, but I'm not going to right now, to donations, ASPX. So we were going to show them their donations. So questions on that? Does that make sense? So that, again, it's a sort of a, this is part of the link. We're declaring an object that's been made for us by the entities. We're just doing using the dot notation to get to the fields. We're assigning values, one from the text box, one we're just getting the system time, and the other we're getting the session key to get the user ID. Let's see if it works. Now it won't work, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to throw us back. So let's do donate, and I'm going to run it, but it'll throw us back to the login. If it doesn't throw us back to the login, it's because our session variable would still be there, but it isn't. So I'm going to log in as, I guess, Bugs Bunny. What was it, Bunny at? I forget what the email was. So Bunny at warnerrow.com. And then password was capital B Bunny, capital P ASS. Okay, so how much do we want to donate? He should be rich, $350. Oh, it didn't. Oh, yes, because we haven't written the code yet. But it did come here. Guess I could close all. All right, so let's look real quick. It's in break mode. All right, so I'm going to do I have a query window still open? No.
My login is throwing errors.
Did it work before?
Yeah, it worked before.
What is the error that it's throwing?
It's just giving me an invalid login, even though I can see it in the database. And it's exception thrown system.threading.thread.
I'm not sure. I'll look in a bit. Anyway, so I was going to do a real quick query. So first I'll do select star from person. I just want to see what number Bugs Bunny is. What? Did I hit the wrong thing? Okay. And stop this. All right, so they're 130. So if I do it from donation, and go to the bottom. So there is a the 350. The person key is 350, and I didn't do a confirmation, which is supposed to be done later anyway from somebody. So it wrote. That's all I wanted to check. So questions so far? That was donate. If I go to the yeah.
So the donate class was set up for us when we did.
Right, it's one of the classes. If we look in the Solution Explorer and we look under, is it here? No. Here? No. Here? It's in one of these. Which one is it? It's not there. Is it there? There is a class in here with all of these in here. All the classes. I'm just trying to find where they are. But anyway, notice there is a donation here. But there's another place where there are some classes written too. There's a ton of code it wrote for us. It's just a matter of finding it in there. All right, so let's go to the last thing, which is the donations, where we show it in a grid view. And I'm just going to right-click and do View Code. And I'm just going to put it in the page mode. And then I am going to also here, they want to be logged in. So I'm going to say if session user key equals null, okay, then response redirect. There should be a dot between those. Default ASPX. We're almost done. And then I'll walk through it one last time, and we'll see if it makes sense. So again, you could do curly braces. This will, if there's no session, it'll throw them back to log in. And then we're going to do a little query. And it's not a terrible query. So I'm going to do the connection, community assist rather, entities. I'm having trouble. There it is. Okay, again, so we're connecting to that. We're going to do a little bit of a query. I'm going to do var, whatever you want to call them, equals from D in CAE donations. Where D dot person key equals, if it will allow this, int session user key. Oh, double equal. Seems to be a it. Select I'm just going to say select D. I'm going to put a parentheses up here. Actually, do I need a parentheses? I think that's fine. I'm going to say grid view 1 data source equals Don's dot to list. Again, there's some these magical methods. It's going to convert it to a list. Grid view 1 date by. And that should all be all we need. Yeah.
Need an else statement.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, don't need an else. Because it's going to throw you back if it doesn't exist. Otherwise, it'll just do this. I mean, we could put this in an else, but it doesn't really.
Here, the GitHub it has its own function.
Which could make sense too. And then just call it. It makes better logic, actually. As a general point, it's usually better not to write a whole bunch in these events. You might need to reuse that code and call an event is a pain. It's really hard to do. I mean, from their method to call that, you have to provide an object in event, and you're not going to be able to do that. So it's just sense to have these things in another method. So I am going to run it from here, throw us back in. If it doesn't throw us back to log, it's because the session variable is still active, but it shouldn't be at this point. Okay. So I guess I do Bunny again. I do not think this is case sensitive up here. No, I don't want to save. So let's have them donate another 150. So there should be actually, and 50 cents. Oh, I had this problem before. I know how to cure it, but I'm not sure why it's happening. So in the source, I need this download number. And for some reason, it won't allow like the second number to go through. So I'll kill that. I remove text mode equal number from the text box for the donation. Oh, now it crashed. What did I do? Yeah, what did I do? It seems to me, did I do something like this last time? To list?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Let me just see if that works. Not supported. Oh, I know. Well, I think it might be this, which I didn't do in the thing either. So let's just do, one more try. Oh, I need a semicolon. There it goes. This is because I didn't select my fields, but it has the donations for the two that we made. I'll go back to the code.
DT equals session.
Yeah. So, and I'll kill this, and then you can look at that. So I did a couple of things that I had to change. The main thing is that I needed to assign this to a variable. It really doesn't like when you do the cast inside of here. It didn't complain in the IntelliSense, but it complained when it ran. So we're creating a variable called DONS. You can name it whatever you want. We're doing for every instance of donation and donations, where the person key is equal to the key that we get from the session, select the whole thing. That's what the select D is. That's also why we get the confirmation, because I could select the individual fields, which would probably be more sensible. And then I tell it to turn it to a list. You have to make it into a list in order to make it a data source. Then we assign this as the data source for the grid view, and we bind it. So I know this is a lot, and we did it together. We're going to do some of this kind of stuff again in the next assignment, which we'll start talking about next time. You'll get a little bit of a hang of it, but you'll never get the total hang of it unless you go play with it. It took me forever to get a sense of it. But if you do go online these days, everything, they always use the data entities. They always use the link because it is easier than the alternative to classic ADO that I showed you last time. Classic ADO has the advantage that you have control. This has the advantage of speed for development. Initially, people didn't like it because the performance was so terrible. But Microsoft has improved it a lot. And there are, if it ever becomes an issue, there are papers online about how to optimize it. Good question. Yeah,
I
still
still
got
need
the
my-
error.
Yeah.
So let's look at the error. Where's the because it was working before, right?
It was, and I fixed a miss and it stopped.
Maybe you misspelled it also.
Yeah, I misspelled default.
It just goes to salary. It's not really showing the error.
It was here. No, this one?
I have to take it out. You can plug it and then yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, so Yeah. And again, this is all available on the GitHub. Try to figure it out. Have questions if you want. But I will count this as your assignment, just because I'm trying to speed us up to get so we get through a lot of the other stuff too. I really, although I love having days off, I hate that we're missing something.
So I think that data entry.
That's this one.
That's this one.
That's why we're
Okay.
catching up.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. All of them?
It's not an error. It's not going to. Yeah. Yeah.
Not just one of only donations. Donations. None of it, that's it.
Let's look at.
I tried to.
There's four of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
No, I'm pretty sure that I drive. I did actually check.
I just want to test the rest of it.
When do you want to do that file?
No, I got it done.
That's annoying, actually, can I just send it out?
Not right now, because of the problem with my.
Oh, you're still working.
Yeah, sorry.
Just because it's on. We're gonna do that.
So, go to your house. Wait, okay. You want to go on
all working with the big money households.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do now. So. So if my. Yeah. I think so. I think so.
You're just. You're doing okay there?
No.
What's happening?
Everything, that's why, luckily it's after I got on with him, but everything's locked up
Outside of the
outside of him. And it's just,
Yeah, mine's totally not.
Yeah.
I can't do anything right now.
I can't even get to the task manager.
That's weird. Usually that happens in the VM, not
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
I made a weird thing where I log in, I submit the donation, but it's on the server back to the log.
All right,
So, and I'm a code is identified.
well, I'll take care of it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do
The
it.
one thing you might want to make sure that the session key or the session variable has exactly the same name and the same case. So if you accidentally made a capital K in one and then LSD.
Okay, that makes sense, okay, okay.
I have the ability to push and hold down the start button.
Excellent.
That makes me feel better. Does it solve the problem?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you were?
Am I leaving before it gets fixed? Sure are. Yes, I are.
It's not doing the.
Okay.
Thank you so much again.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm fine with it.
Oh, we will.
Yeah,
Cool.
send us a picture.
Oh, yeah. I took my code.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Can I start? No, I mean, I'm just, yeah, like, it's just a street. Over and over.
Yeah, he's in the wrong order.
Last name, first name, email, department. City.
Yeah, or just
Password
somebody
comes in.
Yeah, I know.
There's actually something going after you there.
That password.
Right, you don't know.
Oh, the last thing.
That's, you need to go by this list.
Okay.
Or, we have server.
I'm gonna have to ask him.
Oh, you did it, right. But it has to go in this order. And the reason why it's not matching is that it's not showing the password, it's actually matching activity.
Okay. Okay, what has to go in that order?
All these fields have to go, so, see how it, when I bring this up, it has to be last name, first name, email, password, department. Yeah, I mean, so the main thing is that it's, you're hashing something other than the password there. Sure.
So this is the join screen. I got all the way through it fine, except for this one. Sorry, it isn't even like it's supposed to be a hard one, but I created a crazy class table by accident. Right?
Okay.
And the thing is, I was joining a bunch of tools to try to get all the fields.
So what you need is just a,
But I did all inner joins, which
you should do an outer join for
the last one.
Yeah.
So I have. So here's all the And then the problem I was having is the last one that we wanted, I had to bring in two tables to get it to join.
So I think, what
I just have
was
too
I
many.
asking? I was asking which routes, which bus drivers had never driven a route.
No, like it's, like I got all those fine, but this one is just last name, shift time, number.
And the bus
bus
time.
time, and for every bus and bus number 43.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not really even that hard of a one, but you're just bringing in a
Well,
lot of.
you actually might be correct. You got 3,267 routes.
Yeah, But I
That's
think
out of,
That's fixed.
that's out of 360,000, so that actually may be correct.
But it's repeating, like, for example, for this guy, because he's got his morning
That's-
the times, but then it repeats the same information.
But are they on a different day?
Oh, wait, here's this.
No, those are shift start times, but they might be on different days.
Oh.
And there are some people that are working like 24 hours a day.
So should I bring in, to validate it, should I bring in?
Yeah, if you want to
the-
bring in the date just to see,
Okay.
because I think that actually that looks like a reasonable number.
Oh, okay.
result.
Okay. I was like, I worked on it for so long, and I'm like, this isn't even the hardest one in this assignment. Why are they getting all
Well, I
the
think
standard?
it looks like it's okay. I mean, because you're
Okay.
bringing in all the shifts, and it could well be that the way that I loop things in the C# code, it's possible that it's the same driver that ended up on that on most days.
Okay,
And he could be driving 24 hours a day.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring in the date.
What?
Show me again whenever I'm trying to put my files on GitHub from the
Oh,
machine.
okay. Let me real quickly just kill the video.
So